Here we are located on April 23rd, 2026. So we're looking at the lunar eclipse NASA's catalog, and you see March 3rd, 2026. This is the birthday of Jesus. It's a blood moon, March 3rd, 2026. And here we see it in the Hebrew calendar, Adar 15, right? It's a full moon day, Shushan Purim. And this comes out of the book of Esther. In the book of Esther, we have the first month is when they started to cast the lots, day to day, month to month, over a 12-month period. And they landed on Adar 13. And so God is saying, no, no, no. He keeps trying the next day, the next day, the next day. God's saying, no, 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 no. An impossible 330 some odd days where it says no all in a row. So that's God choosing a special date. And Haman is trying to choose this date, but it's really God choosing the date, because it never says yes for Haman, right? And so he gets frustrated, I'm sure, but God is intervening here. And eventually it lands right on Adar 13, in the 12th month of Adar. So Adar 13 is the fast day. And then you'll see there's two special feast days. They end up being the 14th and the 15th. 14th for the unwalled towns and cities, and the 15th is for the cities like Jerusalem, big cities and towns that have walls like Bethlehem. And so Jesus' birthday is the big celebration, birthday party day of Shushan Purim, Adar 15, right? And so these are established in their books to keep these days every year, which they do, 2,500 years. And that's so when you come to learn what's the birthday of Jesus, right? It's not just any old day. It's an appropriate day in the calendar of the Jews. Adar 15, Shushan Purim celebration. It's actual birthday. It's actual party, like celebration in the land of Israel. There's the only day like it. Everybody dresses up. Children, they give money away to the poor. Everybody feeds everybody. It's very much just a day where they all go crazy, right? Because Messiah is born on this day. But they don't know that. But that's the way. That's what it is. So what we're looking at here is we don't find this Adar 13 when the Bethlehem children were killed in the Bible as an Adar 13. We find it in the book of Josephus, the historian. He says that on a fast day, Adar 13, just before King Herod died, there's a blood moon on that day, and it's a leap year. So it's a 13 in the Gregorian, and it's a 13 in the Jewish year, because they're trying to catch up to the solar cycle. And so they're both the same, March 13 and Adar 13, both the same day of 4 BC, right? -3 is 4 BC. And this is happening just before Herod dies. And there it is in the calendar, see, March 13. So there's actually a blood moon listed in NASA's catalog on Adar 13, just as Josephus records that there was. So he's right. Our modern accuracy is demonstrating that what Josephus wrote is correct. And so that's how we know that the children in Bethlehem are killed on an Adar 13. That's the genocide date that was chosen in the book of Esther. So God is choosing, of course, at the time of Esther, they didn't have a genocide, but the children in Bethlehem do. And it lands on an Adar 13, the genocide date, right? And then Jesus turns 2 years old 2 days later, right? And that's what the wise men said. It's 2 years ago that we saw his birth, right? And so there's the blood moon on March 3rd of 2026. Or sorry, this is Adar 13 of 4 BC, March 3rd. No, sorry, this is 2026, sorry. This is March 3rd, 2026, the birthday of Jesus. And Jupiter is in Polacks. That's the Jesus figure of the Gemini twins. He sits on a cloud and he's carrying a sickle, right? So that's in Revelation 14. It's showing you that Jesus figure of the Gemini twins. And here they're sitting on the cloud. So this is a pattern where Jesus has a lunar eclipse on his birthday, 2024 to 2027, and 24 AD to 27 AD. All lunar eclipse 4 years in a row on 8R15s. And so this pattern is very unusual in that 24 is when he turns 30, 2-year ministry, 25, 26 AD, and then he dies 27 AD. And then it repeats again all 2,000 years later. And it shows up during the Holocaust, all lunar eclipse on his birthday, and 1959 to 1962. And it may show up other years as well. I just haven't gone back and looked. And now we're looking at August 12th, 2026. This is the next major event to show up. It's a solar eclipse total, and it's going through Northern Europe. And so this is telling us the Gogian invasion comes from the north, right? You can see how a total eclipse comes through Spain, but because it's curving, it curves along through to Northern Europe. So I could set this for Moscow, right? You can see it there. And when you turn up the solar eclipse, it'll show itself that it does appear August 12th, 2026 in Moscow. Then we can set this back to Jerusalem, and we find it here, August 12th, 2026. It also shows up in Jerusalem. It's below the horizon, though, a couple hours, because it is pretty far north in Europe. It goes through Turkey as well, but there it is below the horizon. But the main thing is that you can see Jupiter is in Cancer. So this is the unclean animal, and Jupiter is what makes it a sign because Jupiter's present, right? And so you found the correct day because it's if you have it wrong, Jupiter is only in one constellation every 13 years. So if you have it wrong, Jupiter's not going to show up. If you have it right, Jupiter shows up. So it's only 1 in 13 that you could just fluke out and have something right. So there's the solar eclipse. It's an unclean animal, obviously, because this is a preparation for a destruction of Israel. So the unclean animal is appropriate for the context of what's going on here. So these are the verses here in Revelations 9. The angels were loosed, which were prepared, right? Past tense, for an hour, a day, a month, and a year. So this is actually referring to the sixth seal, which would be September of 2027. And this is the preparation that occurred, 14 months prior in the past. An hour, a day, a month, and a year. So you can follow this formula. The hour is the hour of his return. So we've already located the hour of his return. And then we just count backwards for 14 months, because this year is a leap year. So there's actually 13 lunar periods in that year. So we're going to go 14 months. And we land on the August 12th solar eclipse, right? So which is a sign day. You have to land on a new moon or a full moon. In this case, it's a solar eclipse, and with Jupiter in Cancer the Crab, just by following this formula and knowing where to start, right? We know that because hour is in here, that and you're going back an hour in a day. It's a Feast of Trumpets day, right? Because you have to go an extra day to see the first crescent of the moon. You go from a perfect new moon. You got to get a day in to the cycle to start to see the first crescent. So that we already knew from other prophecies that it was going to be Feast of Trumpets Day, and so when you're seeing just one day, you know that's the day it takes to get to the first crescent, right? So that can be deduced just by being aware of other prophecies. And so here we're going to start October 1, 2027. It's a 3% moon, right? Which means you can see the first crescent. When you count back one day, it says September 30, and it's showing the new moon on September 29. But really, when we look in our astronomy app, the new moon is right on September 30, right? So we just needed to go back one day. I don't know why that's listed like that, but you can tell. So there is the October 1. It's a Friday night, sunset, 1825. There you can see the first crescent of the moon. And you can see it better as the sun actually sets, the moon is still above the horizon. So it gets a little darker as the sun sets, which makes it easier to see the first crescent. And so at this point here, so even with the naked eye, you can see that first crescent of the moon. If this was, as you zoom in a little bit, it's going to get easier. So yeah, the whole Virgo is lit up. So this is the moment of his return. So you've got Mercury and the moon, you've got Venus, you've got the sun, all in Virgo. Mars is in Libra, so Jesus is returning to put down the Gogian invasion. So that's why it's red Mars in the justice scales. So now as you look to the east and you go the extra hour after sunset, Saturn comes above the horizon. So that's the bride of Christ. It last in line in the procession. So angels and Jesus are below the horizon now, approaching Jerusalem with Saturn, the bride of Christ, in tow. So that's why it shows you when you go the extra hour, you see the bride of Christ above the horizon, because it's last in line in the procession. And you can see that bride of Christ coming from the east, right? Because he has to come in through the east gate. So it's not just a coincidence that Saturn shows up when you're looking east, right? And so that's all part of the formula of when he returns through the east gate. That whole formula is so that you would find it in the celestial signs. So when you go look at the actual new moon, it's September 30, 4 in the morning. So it's a day. We went back an hour, and now back a day, right? And we get to the new moon when we go back one day. And so now we can start counting, right? October 1 period, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so 14 lunar periods, new moon. There it says new under August 12th, right? So we followed that formula, and we understood we needed a 14 periods because that particular year has 13 lunar cycles, and we land on a solar eclipse. Perfect timing, right? And this is the preparation time beginning. Ezekiel 38. Ezekiel 38 says, "Be thou prepared," right? Prepare for thyself. So Ezekiel 38, the big chapter on the Gogian invasion, speaks of a time of preparation. And there's Revelation 16. The vial is poured out, and the water thereof was dried up, right? Past tense, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. So the waters dry up this year, August, September 2026. And then the preparing begins this year, right? Until September 2027, when the actual invasion starts, right? And so this is all the Gogian passages that include the idea of a time of preparation. So what we're witnessing today is very unusual. Americans are angry that we've even done this because there was no threat to the United States. And now they've created a very big mess. It's causing a lot of trouble in the world with oil prices and such. And countries that you don't want to see getting wealthy by this are getting wealthy. Russia's making money off of this. This whole thing is very unusual. It's like it didn't need to happen, and yet it's happening. And that's the nature of these end time things. It's just crazy times. Things just don't make any sense. And of course, we have a president who's an antichrist, and every decision he makes destroys things. What I would say in conclusion is that we followed the formula, and we discovered the sign that represents the time when the Gogian invasion begins. It's very unusual to be able to see a prophecy in the Bible and come to understand it in advance. And if I had the good fortune to have learned how to read the celestial signs many years earlier, then I could have predicted all of the end time events. But some of them, obviously, things are easier to discover after the fact. But I just think it's fascinating that we've discovered, something this important before the fact. And the events that are going on right now support this eventuality.